Hello, fifth graders. Today we're going to learn about, shaky. Today we're going to learn about first-hand accounts in writing. And a first-hand account is a description of an event by a person who was there at the event and got to experience it. First-hand accounts are going to be really important for our historical fiction journal entries because they should all be written in first-hand perspective or first-person perspective. So, what is a first-hand account? I already told you a little bit, but the official definition is a first-hand account is something obtained by, coming from, or being a direct personal observation. When you read a journal entry, you're reading basically about that person's very personal experience. You're not reading about, let's say, a biography about someone, but you're reading from someone's perspective. Here are some ways that you can help think about a first-hand account. So one is the author saw or was part of the action. If they're writing from being a part of the action, you know it's a first-hand account. The author shares feelings and emotions. The author shares thoughts and opinions of an action. Contains sensory details. Remember, those sensory details are those five senses: what you see, what you smell, what you taste, what you hear, what you feel, and are vivid and clear, and told in first person. That means that they're using pronouns like I, or we, or my, or me. So some examples where you'll see first-hand accounts are interviews, diaries, speeches, photographs, letters. These are all places where you can expect to see a first-hand account. Here's how you know the difference between a first-hand account and a second-hand account. There are multiple accounts of the same event. So a first-hand account, now I'm reading the blue text, first-hand account is like a primary source. And I got this chart from online. No, I didn't sit in my apartment and make it, although I definitely would have made it for our classroom if we were there. A description of an event that a first-hand account is a primary source. Primary meaning that it's a description of an event that comes from someone who was there to see it or experience it. And the very first example are diaries and journals. You're going to be creating a diary or journal. It may include your opinions, your thoughts, your feelings, and very specific details. Now, this is going to be a little challenging because you are not actually writing about your personal experiences because, of course, you weren't alive during westward expansion in America. But you're going to have to use your research to pretend that you were, and you're going to have to write about as many personal opinions and details and very specific thoughts and feelings that you can recall from your research and pretend that you are on the or are writing from the perspective, first-hand perspective of someone alive during westward expansion. A second-hand account, which is what we don't want to do, we do not want to be writing in second-hand. That's a description of an event based on research written or told by someone who was not there when it happened. So an example of that might be like a biography of someone. You might write all about someone's experience. You wouldn't write I in a second-hand account. You would write about something or someone. And you don't want to do that. You want to actually step inside the shoes of your character. Here's an example of something written in first-hand account that I came across, and it's the Horse Creek Treaty. It's a Native American experience, and I'm going to read it to you, and I want you to listen every time you hear the word I, me, or my. Those are reminders to the reader, which is in this case is me, that they're writing in first-hand perspective. Our time at Horse Creek was very enjoyable. I came with Red Cloud's band of Aglala Lakota. We were at Horse Creek to discuss an agreement with other tribes in the United States. Many other tribes, like our allies in Cheyenne and Arafoa, excuse my pronunciation of this, came as well. There were also some of our enemies, like the Crow. For the most part, times were peaceful at Horse Creek. Some tribes, like the Cheyenne, demonstrated their war tactics. This was great entertainment for all tribes. At night, we sang and danced while the children played by the creek. During the day, our tribal leaders and government would speak. They were trying to come to an agreement. Many of us received gifts from the army. These gifts included coffee, tobacco, swords, and medals. I like coffee. Finally, on the morning of September 17th, the leaders all signed a treaty. It was time to load up our horses and return to our homeland. Okay, so you don't have to worry too much about the specifics of that, but I hope that you noticed what I certainly noticed just now, and this sounds like a person who was actually there during this time. And some things that made me think that were when this person said, I came across Red Cloud's band of the Oglala Lakota. Whoa, that's a really specific detail that only someone there might notice. Something else like, at night we sang and danced while the children played by the creek. That's another very specific detail that made me think this person was actually there during this time. How else would you know that? So now I want you to go ahead and practice. Today we're going to add first-hand accounts to our writing by 1, including my character's personal opinions. You're going to jump inside the shoes of your character. You should include my character's personal feelings. Again, you're going to jump inside the shoes of your character to include these feelings. And 3, include some very specific details about your character. So go ahead to your document today. It's linked in Google Classroom, and you're going to practice writing in first-hand perspective. Good luck, and let me know if you have any questions. See you soon.